here I am.
Alrighty. What do you do on a typical day?
Oh, Lord.
No. Yeah, just...
Or who do I work with?
Yeah, who do you work with on a typical day?
Oh, well, it changes every day. Every day I work with my great parks guy, Pat. He is my right-hand man, I can tell you that one. So usually I work with him a lot just on what's going on in the parks, what programs we have, what we need from him, because as I said before, I can't paint the lines, so he does that piece for me. I work with my Parks and Rec director, Dan. We are in the same office, so we work together every day, so when I have a question, I bother him. It's interesting for me now because being in a school, everything's set up for you. And you work with the people in the school. But when you work in a city, I'm learning you work with so many different people. So I work with Greg from the youth center a lot. We started some after school programs. So this morning, for instance, I had a meeting with the school administrator, superintendent, the superintendent, school principal about some after school stuff, and then I had a meeting with the school board president to talk about grants. So every day, there's no such thing as a typical day.
Yeah.
You know, it's different people all of the time, and it's a lot of networking. So my main two people are the parks. So Pat from Parks and Dan from, that's the director. But it's all across the board.
Yeah. So what do you do on a typical day, even though you said?
Yeah. Well, I get here like at 8. Sometimes 8:30.
It's fine.
But I get here around 8 o'clock, usually on time. And I have a lot of emails. That's my least favorite part is email. I check emails for what seems like 85 hours some days, but I check emails in the morning, and then a lot of times I'm out. Like in the summer, I'm out. I'm checking on our different parks, our different programs, checking on equipment, moving equipment places, checking on the Troll Beach, which is our aquatic facility. Then I have meetings all the time. So meeting with different people in the community, either they have ideas about different programs, a problem with a different program, or, you know, just need to talk about some things happening in the park, or in one of our programs. So usually I'm meeting with someone, and then, like, it depends what programs are running. Every 3 months is a different season, so every 3 months things change. So it kind of fluctuates workload wise. Like right now we're really gearing up for basketball, so I'm totally basketball minded, even though on Saturday I was running a flag football tournament all day and in the rain and it was cold. But it's just, so it's hard to say a typical day, but usually I'm done at like 4:30, unless we have programs or something's happening, and I like to be out in those because I don't like to be at my desk as much, like people.
Nice. What are the pros and cons of working in the career?
I like change. I love being creative, and I like seeing things from start to finish. I love the fact that every 3 months it's different. So every 3 months I kind of have a blank slate, really, with what I want to do and with the seasons. I love people, I love coordinating, I love networking. So this job is great because I get to talk to people from all different sides of the city. From people to the school district, to city council, to big business people who don't understand the disparities that we have in the city. Even some of our council people don't understand that. So really just talking to people about, you know, why recreation and access to these programs is important for everyone is a big thing for me. Cons are that people have their own ideas on what programming is and what positive programming is and what the city should be doing. there are a lot of people who have a lot of opinions. So you really have to have a thick skin and be able to listen to people, because most of the time the complaints that we get, they're usually mad about what happened at Quick Trip, the 5 days, the 75 people who had my job before me or after me, or their issues are so much broader than the one that's coming to you. So the hardest part is really being able to filter out the negativity and find what the constructive piece is to improve whatever it is that their problem is with. There's also so much you can't control. You know, there are so many people and programs that work really for the city, for the rec department. You're just the head and the face. So everybody comes to you with the problems, even though it's not necessarily your fault. So adults are the hardest part. And really the complaint piece, it's also just a lot of coordinating, organizing, being really on top of things, which is hard to do because everything changes so often. But the pros definitely outweigh the cons. There are very few jobs that you can go out and paint pumpkins with a kindergartner and set up a huge flag football tournament, but then also come in and be able to create constructive programming for seniors and adults. So I would say the cons are emails. Complaint emails are really the cons. And budgets. Bless everybody's soul who does budgets. Sue McDade, thank you for your help with that, because that is the hardest part.
Alrighty. What are some challenges you had getting into this career?
I think the hardest part is there's just not a lot of these kind of jobs. There's only a certain amount of cities. The people who are in these jobs usually stay in these jobs for a really long time. I was very blessed to really get in with Jake as early on as I did and start getting experience. And really blessed to have Tracy, who helped kind of guide me and keep me on the path of what I should be doing, because recreation is so broad and there are so many different areas. It's hard to figure out like what's my niche. So getting into the job is hard because you've got to have a whole lot of experience and also have the education piece too. So it was really important for me to get the 2-year degree to be able to move up in this job.
Alrighty. What is some advice you have to give to someone that is pursuing this career?
Get out there and network. This career is not necessarily solely based on your academic piece. A lot of it is being a people person and talking to people. It is incredibly important to know your stuff, but also at the same time, you are in the public eye, so you have to make sure that like you're getting out there, you're networking, you're talking to people, and you're getting your foot in the door whatever way is possible. So don't get too comfortable in one place. If you're in a city for too long, talk with your rec directors, talk with your parks directors, whoever it is, and see what are some other opportunities out there. Grab onto whatever you can, even if you don't feel comfortable with it. I was not a swimmer and decided to be a lifeguard. And I did that solely because it was different. I wouldn't know anything about it if I wasn't a lifeguard. I wouldn't be able to run a pool now if it wasn't for those pieces. So I think it's just like ask questions, take advantage of the resources that you have available to you, even if it's volunteering, because those people remember it. And the WPRA conference every year, which is going on, like, that's huge, and everybody talks and everybody knows everybody. So I mentioned Jake Anderson or Tracy Bowers, and 25 other people know that person, and that's my link. So like, just get out there, talk to people, get as much experience as you can, and risk things, try things, ask your Parks and Rec people to try things, have ideas, bring them to the table, because people really like that.
How are you seeing this career change, like trends or programs?
I have never in my life heard of pickleball before getting this job. And now we have like 4,000 pickleball courts. So I really need to get out and play pickleball.
It's a fun game.
Because, like, I did not know pickleball was a thing. So pickleball, I also, like, people want different programming now. You know, people are more whole body minded than they were in the 90s. You know, in the 90s it was your typical, you know, soccer, baseball, basketball, football. Now it's kind of shifting. I'm seeing a lot less tackle football and a lot more flag football. Yeah. You know, a lot of universal sports like pickleball, yoga, things like that people seem to be very interested in. On the aquatic side of things, people want like water Zumba, like fun activities like that where it's more group minded and not as much competitive. One thing that really has shocked me is how down softball and baseball numbers are. That just seems to be a sport that's trending out, which is interesting because you think like America's pastime, everybody plays baseball, but that's just not the case anymore. And I'm not sure. I have a lot of ideas how to get that, you know, going again, but it seems like it's a national trend. Yeah. The career itself, it changing, that's hard. I've only been doing it since February. As far as the after school piece goes, it's interesting because of our politics in the United States. So, but the need is there. The need is there for our kids and our families, especially the after school piece, because it's not always, it should be accessible to everyone, but it's not. So I guess those are the big
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.